Welcome back, everyone. It's been a while since I've done a boss ranking video, so why not do one for a super fun action boss battling game? Now, I carefully worded it like that because even though Black Myth Wukong has similarities to Souls-like games, it is not considered a Souls-like. So let's talk about my top three best and worst bosses in Black Myth Wukong. Now, these are entirely my opinion from my experience, and you may have a different favorite or hatred towards a different boss. Or you might feel differently towards a boss I listed. So let's start with number three on the worst boss list, and that would be the Dusk Veil. This is an optional boss fight to get one of the best items in the game that helps you later on. I struggled a lot on this boss, as its attacks are very fast and is absolutely ruthless and unrelenting, as it just keeps attacking and attacking and attacking. The worst part is that every time you die, you're forced to watch the cinematic for it again and again and again. It gets easier when you start learning all the attacks, but just be prepared for a lot of dodging. It doesn't help this boss also has ranged attacks, which makes it even more challenging when you're trying to keep distance. Once you finally beat it, though, the item is so worth the pain that Dusk Veil inflicted on you. And before we get into number three with the number three of the best bosses, I was really debating between Dusk Veil and whatever that boss name is that's the praying mantis. That was between these two, both those bosses were rough, but I struggled more on Dusk Veil, and that's why I picked that one for this list. So, number three on the best list, we have the Yaksha King, and it is a main boss that cannot be skipped. This was a wild fight that some consider as one of the hardest bosses in the game. This entire fight was so much fun for me. Very nicely timed attacks. The attack patterns make this a challenging yet very fun fight. The visuals are as well when Yaksha King uses its swords is so cool and just visually appealing. The cinematics along the way are some of my favorites throughout the entire game when you're listening to the story being told throughout it. Number two on the worst list is the Hundred-Eye Taoist Master. This boss was very painful to deal with. Fast, heavy-hitting attacks with an annoyingly large health pool, and the hitbox of this boss is just insane. This is almost an endurance fight, as it is difficult to defeat. The attacks are pretty well designed, I'll give it that, until it starts going underground and it becomes a major pain in the ass. I don't want to spoil it, but there is an item that does make the fight a lot easier, but only by so much. It still requires a lot of skill in getting good, but the item does really help out. And once again, I don't want to say it because I don't want to spoil it in case you haven't played Black Myth Wukong. It's a very interesting boss design. I love the design of the boss, but damn, it's a rough one. And what makes it worse is that it's a main boss, once again. If I didn't say that at the beginning. So you aren't progressing until you get rid of them. Number two on the best list is Zhu Baji. I'm going to butcher every name on this list. Hopefully I'm not. One of my favorite NPCs in the game becomes a boss battle, something that took me by surprise when it happens. This fight is crazy. Zhu Baji shapeshifts throughout the fight, making quite a challenge and making you stay on your toes and be ready for almost anything that can happen because it's sometimes unpredictable, but it's fair. There's a lot of ramp up time between the attacks and the shapeshifting, so you can tell what's coming when you learn the fight. It's not too hard, but some attacks, once again, will get you by surprise if you aren't paying full attention. It's a very nice, large, open arena that makes it a fun, big battle all the way until you defeat him. Definitely a fun main boss that feels rewarding after defeating finally. And here we are, everybody. The worst boss from when I played the game. Yellow Lulong. This boss ended me so many times, so many. It was the main reason I actually quit the game for a few months. I rage quit over this boss. And I uninstalled the game, and then I came back months later to finally beat him after a large handful of attempts again. God damn, this optional boss sucked. Very fast lightning attacks, so that's always fun to deal with. Being able to go in the air and just appear in your face attacking you is always a good thing. The yellow Lulong could also corner you and just unrelentlessly attack you with no end until you die miserably, with no time to breathe. If this boss didn't drop one of the best weapon crafts in the entire game, which, if you don't know, one of the best weapons in the game that you have to craft, I would have just skipped past him and ignored it. But I wanted that weapon so bad. That means I had to work for it and earn it. And you will be in a world of pain if you take on the Yellow Lulong and are not ready for it. Lastly, we're at number 1 on the best list. The Stone Monkey, the final boss of the game. This fight was insanely good, extremely challenging, visually beautiful, and I just don't know what else to say about it. This was an amazing boss battle that concluded the main story of Black Myth Wukong. This fight perfectly encapsulates the feeling of using everything you have learned throughout the game. It's just you, Stone Monkey, and a large open arena, albeit with an annoying barrier that you cannot see. The only part of the fight I didn't like, I think, was during the beginning of the second phase, and the Stone Monkey's arms start glowing, and it starts launching these flaming ring attacks at you repeatedly. And the last ring in that sequence is almost impossible to dodge, and you kind of just commit to eating it. And it deals a good amount of damage to you. I don't really mind when it clones itself. I thought that part of the fight was unfair at first, but after doing it, it really wasn't all that bad. The fight overall was tons of fun. But that, everybody, was my top 3 best and worst bosses in Black Myth Wukong. So, if you guys enjoyed, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Let me know in the comments which boss you loved and didn't love. This was by far one of my favorite games that is like a Souls-like, but not, I guess. I don't know how else to explain it. Maybe a Souls-like? I don't know. Because this game is not considered a Souls-like, once again, based on the description of the game. So, if you guys enjoyed, once again, like and subscribe, and thank you for watching.